Core training. Most people I see doing core training get it wrong. You see a variation on some kind of crunch mechanism and or a variation on some kind of plank. That's pretty much it when you think about core training. Core is much more complex than that and should be trained as such, but the big thing that you need to be thinking about is kind of what it is meant to do in terms of your body, and that will dictate how you should go about training it. So what I'm going to touch on here is what that is, what your core is designed to do, but also one of the best training tools that you can use to train your core most effectively. I'm going to jump into that at the end of the video. So what is the core and how does it work? Let's go real simple on this one. I want you to imagine that it's basically the middle of a piston. Top half of the piston is your upper body, the bottom half of the piston is your lower body, and in the middle there is the core. Now, to get the piston working properly, to get the top and the bottom working in tandem, working together, to get the most use out of that piston, you need to have a solid core, the bit in the middle. If it's wobbling around all over the shop, you're not going to get the benefits of that piston working hard. Particularly crucial if you're doing full body workout stuff, which a lot of people do. But even if you're doing some kind of split and you're doing an upper body or a lower body move, still having that core solid and braced is really, really important. You see, ultimately, the core isn't actually designed to move very much. If you think about that lower back area, it doesn't move a great deal. Yeah, it's pretty damn solid. The thing that causes your core to actually move is the muscles and the strength and or weakness thereof. So what you need to be thinking about when you're training your core is actually training it to not move. Okay, so if you're doing umpteen crunches, what you're actually doing is moving the core. It's not the most useful thing to actually improve strength and performance, those kinds of things. But also, if you learn how to brace that core properly, even if it's just from an aesthetic point of view, you will actually narrow down. It's about tightening up that inner belt. You will narrow down your waistline as well. So training the core properly by preventing movement is the way that you want to be actually working. So a plank is a good example of that. In terms of training anti-extension, you don't want to be flexing too far backwards, but a lot of people then train that incorrectly because they just hang out in that plank position. You need to be tensing the muscles around the tummy, around the sides, around the glutes, that's part of it as well, around the mid-back, upper back, to keep everything nice and solid so you're not just hanging out on your ligaments. Okay, so make sure when you are training core that you are doing stuff that is preventing movement first and foremost, but is actually engaging the muscles effectively as well, and you're not just hanging out on ligaments, tendons, that kind of thing. Now, one of the best, if not the best exercise that I think that's out there to train core effectively is something known as the Pallof Press. You do need a little bit of kit to do this, but I'm going to demonstrate it using something that you can rig up very, very easily at home. Obviously, I'm set up in my squat rack here, and if you have a band, happy days. Yeah, that is probably the best thing to be doing with this, but then you also need a door handle. You've got to imagine that this is a door handle, all right? So all you're going to do is to loop your band around your door handle. Simple as that. Put your hands through the middle, stand side onto the camera, brace everything, so feet hip distance apart, stand nice and tall, glutes engaged, core engaged, yeah, really squeeze through that tummy, shoulders back and down, grab a hold of the band, get a little bit of tension on, so just pull it gently away from the door handle, and all you're going to do is to push your hands straight out in front of you. Yeah, it is no more complicated than that, and a lot of people look at it and go, is that it? But I can guarantee when you do it, and if you do it properly, as you push the hand out in front of you, that band is trying to pull me back towards the squat rack. I have to get my left hand side highly engaged to prevent that movement happening. You obviously need to flip yourself around. You do it on both sides, one after the other. That's how you do it with a band. I haven't got a band though, don't worry. You've got a bag like this one, bit of string looped through the bag. And all I've done, this is actually just off my TRX, because I've got it to hand, it makes it a bit easier, but you can do it just with the string if necessary. Again, you're just going to loop that over your door handle. Principle's exactly the same, but this time what I want to do is just to make sure that that bag is just a little bit up off the floor. Position's the same. I'm going to have shoulders tucked back and down. I'm just going to push that handle out in front. Okay, so nice and easy. I really feel the side nearest to bag, door handle, quality of well-being engaged and tight. Then you drop the bag back down. Super simple, super effective, the best way to train core, one of the best core training exercises. Prevent movement, feel everything tighten up through the middle of the body there, so you'll look better and you will perform better as well.